What made you ghost a friend? When I came home to find the power off. Bill hadn't been paid. We were friends from work. He had split up from his ex, and I needed to be closer to work. We went 50-50 on a rental. He has 3 kids from the previous relationship. With me being the nerd, I agreed to pay the tech bills. Internet, phone, cable TV. He agreed to pay the power as he burned more because his kids were over on access visits. Came home. Dark house. HMMMM. Investigate. He hadn't paid the power for ages because his new girlfriend wanted the money. Then I discovered he wasn't paying his rent either, same reason. Down $5K, power, rent, we were evicted. Ghosted. Started talking shit about me to my GF and best mate. His dad had a history of drinking problems, and he was starting to exhibit the same behavior, so I suggested we should both take a break from drinking for a while and try to focus on some healthier shit. He apparently took that as I'm not the same person, and my GF was the person who changed me. When I realized I put so much more into the friendship than she did. Whenever we met up, it was basically time for her to vent about her life. She always had some ridiculous drama over something tiny. She had 2 sisters. It would change week to week which one she was talking with and which one she'd never speak to again. And then don't get me started on her hatred for her husband's family, mostly cause they were from a different ethnic background and social class. Lots of other similar issues that showed she was just a narcissist. For a while I put up with it cause catching up with her was a way for me to go drinking not on my own. Then there were a few big events in my life and she just wasn't there for me and didn't care. Well, she pretended to, but sent her husband to take care of me. Then would try to get me to come listen to her yap on for hours. Or do stuff for her. If I tried to talk about my stuff, she'd criticize me and say everything isn't about me, then go on talking about how terrible it was that her mother-in-law didn't say the right thing to her. It just got to a point where I decided I didn't care about her drama, and it was draining my life energy, and I decided my life would be better off without her. And it honestly has been. Edit. Added in more details. My best friend growing up was a kid I lived next door to from the age of 9 until 18. At school, he would pretend not to know me so he could seem cool to the popular kids. He would invite me places then ditch me. He would break plans so he could free up time to hang with his cooler friends. That shit got real old, real fast. When I was 18, I moved to the other side of town. We were growing apart more and more, but I would still try to hang out with him when I could. Well, one day he asked me to come over to his house and play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater when it first came out. I was so pumped that I walked 3 miles to his house, only to be told that he was going to go hang out at his other friend's house instead, but could I babysit his brothers and sisters? Needless to say, things weren't the same after that. I stopped answering his calls. He would stop by and I would leave just to avoid him. He would make plans to hang out and I never bothered going. I just gave up on trying to be friends with that guy. I tried so hard for almost 10 years just to be a good friend to him, and he just pushed me to the wayside. Maybe I'm an asshole for stooping to his level, but I don't care anymore. She started hanging out with a new friend. That's fine, I'm not her only friend. Then while we were hanging out, as pre-planned, she would leave to go hang out with her new friend, then she'd break plans with me to hang out with her, all while tagging her on Facebook, so none of it was being hidden. 3 years later she reaches out to me and apologizes. It's genuine as she mentioned insightful things she would have no way of knowing unless she had grown and been very honest with herself. We are friends for another 2 years when she starts to hang out with another new friend. Repeat. He knocked on my door one night and said, "Let's go for a drive." This wasn't that odd since I love driving to cool my head. So we start driving and maybe 10 minutes in, he starts directing me on where to go. He asks me if I mind making a quick stop. I'm annoyed but say sure. We end up at this sketchy house in the middle of nowhere and my buddy goes inside but tells me to wait in the car. Almost 45 minutes later he comes back out and says we gotta go to the bar. It takes me about 10 seconds to realize this pose went in there to get coke and was already high. So I tell him that I'm not feeling it tonight and drop him off at his place. Spoke to him once after that when he wanted to hang and I told him I'm nobody's errand boy. Never gave a shit if he got the message because I haven't spoken to him since. She burned the bridge. For most of the year and a half that she and I started working at the same place, she bullied me, micromanaged me, made me feel left out, and gaslighted me whenever I tried to confront her behavior. It was almost always my fault, nothing I ever did was right, and she refused to believe that she has control issues or that she was using me as a punching bag. She started doing this thing where she wouldn't text me unless I texted her first, and then get mad if I didn't text her. So, once she quit the job, I stopped texting her. I haven't spoken to her at all since August 2019, and I don't regret it. Too much insult humor really fucked my esteem. Edit. Since I can't possibly respond to all these and keep my sanity, we were friends for a while, and it was almost always insult humor, and that combined with a shitstorm of other things just got to me, and I took it personally and ended up blowing up at them. Now I really don't have any way to talk to them and don't care anymore. Guy told me, "You'll never be a good teacher." After 2 years of unemployment following my graduation with a teaching degree, I realized the bastard had meant every joking insult he'd ever said to me. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and like.